If you enjoy the relaxing sound and cooling effect of a real fan, but you don't want cold air blowing around your bedroom in the winter, then the Snooz Breeze might just be the answer. After reviewing more than 30 white noise machines over the years, it's the first one I've seen that has two independent fans inside, and it works really well. In warmer weather, you can use the main fan to both cool you and provide a relaxing sound. And in the winter, you can use the other fan, which still sounds great but doesn't blow any air around the room. You can even combine the two fans to maximise the volume and block out annoying noise such as traffic or other people's music. Personally, I love the Breeze, not because it's perfect, as you'll see later in this video, but because it removes the need to have two separate devices, and it also has some very useful features which are accessible via the app, and I'll cover those later in the video. So let's take a closer look. Starting with the design, the Breeze looks modern and sleek. I like the rounded shape of the fan unit, the off-white colour, and the smooth finish of the beechwood stand. You can swivel it on its vertical axis to control the direction of the airflow, but it doesn't oscillate, which is one of my few criticisms when comparing it to normal fans. It's worth noting that the Breeze has to be plugged in to work. One end of the power cable goes into the base of the fan unit, and the other end is a DC power adapter for a wall outlet. The cable is 6.3 foot long, which allows flexible placement in a room. As for the running cost, I ran mine through a power meter for 2 hours on full blast. With a setting of 30 cents per kilowatt hour, it only cost 2 cents, which I think is pretty good. There are two ways to operate the Breeze, with the manual buttons on the device itself or remotely with the app. If you want to control it manually, there are just 5 buttons. 1 to turn it on, 2 to control the main fan speed, and 2 to control the white noise fan speed and therefore the volume. They're touch buttons which don't make any clicking sound, and I found they're very responsive to light touch. If you prefer, you can also connect via Bluetooth and use the app. That way you can see what setting the two fans are on from 1 to 10, and you can turn each of the fans off and on faster too. An excellent feature of the Breeze is the auto fan mode. If you want to, you can set the temperature you feel comfortable at, and the Breeze will automatically turn on or off as it senses the room temperature rising or falling. Another feature I know some people will appreciate is the light control. As you can see, the buttons do emit light, but you can dim them via the app and also turn them off completely if you prefer. One last feature that I really like is the scheduler. You can set a separate time for the Breeze to turn on and off each day of the week, which makes life easier if you know what setting works best for you. You can even adjust the fade time so it doesn't abruptly switch off. Okay, let's have a longer listen to how the Breeze sounds now. First of all, I'm going to play all 10 settings on the airflow fan, then all 10 on the white noise fan, and then both together. Compared to white noise machines that use recordings, I think the authentic sound of the Breeze is soothing and relaxing to listen to. It's also surprisingly loud, and I found it blocks out external noise very capably, such as the birds and the traffic sound that you might hear when you're listening to this video on headphones, because I'm recording this in my bedroom and not in a studio, and it blocks out sounds like that really well. To find out how the volume compares to other white noise machines and a standard desk fan, I did a little test with a decibel meter to get a snapshot of their maximum volume from 1 meter away. The Breeze came in at 76.1 dBA with both fans on max. The Electrofan Evo was 77.5 dBA. The Dream Egg D3 Pro was 74.2 dBA. The original Snooz was 70.3 dBA. A basic desk fan was 69.1 dBA. And the Dome Uno was 67.5. So the Breeze was much louder than the desk fan, the Dome Uno and the original Snooz, all of which also have real fans inside. And it held its own compared to the Evo and D3 Pro, which are two of the loudest white noise machines with speakers that I've tested. So the Breeze clearly works well as a white noise machine, but what about the cooling effect of the fan? Well, Snooz says that the airflow capacity is 380 cubic feet per metre, with a max airspeed of 20 feet per second. And I can tell you, you wouldn't want this right next to your head on a nightstand pointing directly at you with the max speed settings, because this thing is powerful. To give you an idea of how good it is, I finally found a use for some leftover Christmas present ribbon. And you can see here that the Breeze has the ribbon dancing nicely in the air. By comparison, you can see here that the desk fan doesn't keep the same ribbon flying nearly as well. So if you do need some targeted cooling in the summer, the Breeze is considerably more powerful than a basic fan. One potential downside of the Breeze is the price. It currently costs just under $200 in the US, which makes it the most expensive white noise machine I've used, and more expensive than many fans. However, when you combine the price of both a white noise machine and a fan, especially high-end fans like a Dyson, the price starts to look much more reasonable. Okay, now let's run through the key pros and cons as I see it, and then I'll give you my final verdict. Starting with the pros, the main one for me is that there are two independent fans, so you can have noise and cooling in the summer, or just noise in the winter. The main fan is powerful, but there are 10 speed settings to tone it down if you need to. The maximum volume with the fan and white noise settings on 10 is very loud, so it blocks out external noise effectively. It can be controlled manually or remotely with the app if you don't want to get out of bed. The app has some useful smart features, such as the auto temperature sensor and timers, and it has a modern, sturdy and robust design that should last the test of time. As for the cons, it's quite expensive, especially compared to a standard white noise machine or basic fan. Most of the smart features are only accessible through the app, with only basic manual controls. It's not as compact or portable as most white noise machines. There are no other sounds like nature or ambient sounds, and although you can adjust the direction manually, the fan doesn't oscillate, so the air will only flow in one relatively narrow tunnel. My final verdict then is that as a 2-in-1 fan and white noise machine, the Breeze is a fantastic device. While I don't think it will be the best choice for everyone, I do think that it meets a particular need just right. If you prefer the sound of a real fan rather than recordings, and you naturally use a fan to cool you in the summer, but you don't want a fan blowing air around your room in the winter, then the Breeze gives you flexibility without needing to buy two separate devices. And if you typically use white noise or a fan to block out external noise that's disrupting your sleep, work or study, for example, then it's a very capable device with loud maximum volume, but it also has incremental speed settings which naturally tones down the volume so you can respond to the environmental noise around you appropriately. So that's it for the review. I hope that you found it useful. If you did and you'd like to buy one, I'll put a link in the description below, and please also subscribe to my YouTube channel to keep in touch and see future reviews. Thanks for watching. This is Ethan from No Sleepless Nights.